welcome back to my channel and welcome back to the Darkroom. Today, I've set up a negative from my trip to the Arizona Highway 86 when I was back in Tucson in July. The film that I shot was the Ferrania P30. I've never shot that film before, and it has a lot of contrast. And I like contrast, but this has a lot of contrast. And I probably didn't pick the best environment to do the shooting with this film. If I think back, I would probably choose something a bit different. But, you know, that's why you experiment with new films and you see what happens. I reviewed the negatives and I've chosen one print that I would like to get done today. There's a handful in there that I think could be a good print, but really the contrasts and the environment sort of make some of those choices a bit more difficult. So I picked one that I think is meaningful, emotional, and full of story. And this is the one that I would like to get. Now, I understand already that the negative and the film has a lot of contrast. So I'm going to begin with a 1.5 grade filter. I want to sort of drop the contrast a little bit. I don't need separation between the blacks and the highlights. I need more middle ground here. So I'm going to start with the 1.5, see where that takes me. I'm going to do probably 5 seconds intervals for the test to see where things are and then move forward from there. So I got the negative in, but I still need to set the composition and everything and get all that set up before getting into the test. So that's the next step. Let's get to it. Okay, well, the blacks are coming in quickly. We can see clearly that we've got the 5 seconds right here, and the highlights are just still blown out. The blacks are already coming in. And here's the line for 10 seconds. And you can see that it's already just heavy. So I think it's 1 grade contrast filter. I need to control the blacks building up so quickly and see if there's something that can get done here. So 1 grade filter. Time is going to be different, but I'm still going to be doing 5-second intervals to see where I land. So that's the next step, 1 grade filter. It's almost, no, we're going to do the 1 grade and compare, see where we are. The move to the 1 grade filter clearly is giving me a lot more direction and information on where to go. If I compare the two, this is the 1.5 and this is the 1, you can already see quite clearly, hopefully you can, I can, the difference between changing the contrast filter. So problem number 1 solved. Move to the 1 grade filter, and there's a lot more room for me to control the image. So that takes care of that, nice and sticky. So moving on to where do I go from here? I've got the 1 grade and I've got 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 15 seconds, and 20 seconds. I'm trying to control the, I guess how quickly the blacks sort of get exposed and built, and give time for the remaining spectrum of grayscale and highlights. So 5 clearly isn't going to work. The difference between 10 and 15 gets to the point where you're sort of thinking, okay, well, I've got a bit more of the mountains in the background. The sky is going to be white. That's just the way the film is going to give it to me. And I'm allowing some of the other vegetation to gain some traction in the image. The sun coming down this way, these flowers on this cross are going to be black. I'm not going to be playing around with trying to get the detail. That's just the way the environment was, and that's just the way it's going to be. I would like to have the cactus in the background to maybe not be as heavy. But really, if I'm thinking about the composition and the visual elements, the crosses need to be whiter. They need to be the brightest thing in the image to make sure that that is the visual subject. And having the other dark spots just becomes an issue of visual balance. How much weight do I want to have in this part of the frame? And then, of course, the offset by the lighter elements. 20 seconds is going to be too much. So here I am at the 10 and the 15. And really at this point, split the difference, go 12 and a half, maybe 13 seconds, and see what I get. All right, so we'll do 13 seconds. I really shouldn't be overthinking it so much. I don't see any point. Let's just run the 13 and see what we get, and then we'll make the decision whether we need to manipulate a couple seconds here or there. You know, just get it done, right? There is definitely some room to go a bit further in this image. But I like how it's going. That's the important part. Not where I want to be, but when I'm looking at the image, I have what I want in terms of the crosses being white, and that is the key element. And the mountain up at the top here, I would like that to be a little bit darker to allow the offset of the cross then to the background, the mountain. So if the mountain's a bit darker, then that would push the cross forward in the frame and give it a good offset. In the middle, which is the darkest part of the negative, that is going to just get a bit dark, and that's fine. I can see the cactus and I have the cross, so that subject is standing out. This end finally, was always the 5-second end, so it never came in very nicely, is developing nicely and coming in, as is this side. So the center is going to be the heavy part because of the cactus. It's dark green and a lot of shadow and a lot of sun. And the outside parts are going to be a little bit lighter. So I think that this is where I want to be. I'm going to add some time, and I'm going to do a full-size 8x10 print. And I'm going to go up to 16 and a half seconds for my first full print. I think that should give me enough extra time to bring in the other elements that I want in the image. So that's it, 16 and a half for our first full-size shot. See how it comes out. are definitely on to something here. And is that a tree? Something in the... Oh, okay, anyways, I can fix that. The foreground is totally blown out still. So I'm gonna need to burn a bit of the left side and definitely gonna need to burn the bottom and possibly some parts of the sky. But we are getting where we need to be. And there's a weird little black dot in the top left corner that I need to figure out if that is a dust spot or if that is something that is actually on the negative, like a tree branch that I just need to move over. What is clear is that I do have a little bit more time in the space for me to push. There is a branch that comes off and comes back in, and there's a small little speck. So I just shifted the frame a little bit to cut that part out. The bottom needs to be burned. This is not coming in, and this area right here could use a bit more exposure. But this centerpiece is coming in exactly where I want it to be. So I will be doing a burn down here. I could do 10 seconds probably without having any issue, because it's just the highlight that I want to build and a bit of the grayscale, the really soft grayscale. So no problem there, adding some time, and also up here. So I'll keep the center part. I'm gonna be just going to 1 second more just to really fill it in, just a touch more. I sort of want it, I want more there. And then I'll take care of this part with the burn, 10-second burn, and some around here, 8 seconds maybe, just something to give a little bit more depth inside here and just not the sort of grayish mess that it's kind of looking like. The balance on this end is really nice, that darker tree and the mountains coming in, really like it. The crosses still, right, stand out clearly as a subject against that darker background. So this part, really happy with. This part, need to build it up a little bit and give it some essence and a little bit of voice in the picture. So there we go. That's the next step. 17.5 all around and a bit of a burn. All right, to do the burn, you just need to obviously keep the image from touching the paper and then just right, move slightly in the area you want. I'll use the timer. I'll keep it at the 17.5, and then when it gets to 10, I'll start burning that bottom part in. There we go. Just give it a little bit. Okay. And I also wanted to get a little bit of the side and the corner. Okay. Kind of get that tree. I think that is doing the trick. Clearly, I can already tell the difference in that tree on the left side. It's getting deeper and darker where all the branches would come together, and it's kind of balancing the other side. And down below, clear difference in the grasses that were in the foreground of the image. And I think it's left, that left cross without any extra exposure. I really like how this image is ending up. I think I've nailed what I want with the image. The goal was to keep the crosses as the element that is the centerpiece of the narrative, and that is clear. The sky, this film, I have to say, is fantastic. I don't have to deal with sky issues. The sky was blue and it's white. So I have that piece of negative space, and I have the heaviness across the middle, but also the crosses inside that space. And the burning down here did exactly what I wanted it to do. It gave me a foreground. It gave me a foundation and a depth to have inside that image here. And then burning this side definitely put weight into this tree to match the weight in that tree. So I'm liking everything about where this is. The heaviness of the blacks is not my concern. I was there. I knew taking the picture that these dark purple, almost like wine red purple flowers were just going to come out as solid black and heavy. There was no question about that. And I wasn't concerned with that element. Again, the repetition of the circle of flowers with the crosses, all of that was the composition that I was looking at set against, right, this mountain and the beauty of that environment. So I'm good with that. I'm happy with that. I'm really happy with the image. I'm going to do one more because I want to obviously practice and repeat what I just did to see if I can create a result that is similar as the one that I have right here. So let's do one more and hope we get more or less in the same result. Well, that's been a really enjoyable darkroom session. There's no question about it. I really enjoyed myself, and I'm really enjoying my time back in the space. The prints that I got in the end, nice and dry, and this is it. I really like where this image has ended up, 100%. Burning the bottom definitely made a huge difference in creating some depth, while also burning the Palo Verde tree on this side to balance the other tree to try to give my subject some sort of framing inside the frame. Really happy with it. I'm really happy with how things have been going so far in the darkroom this year, and hopefully it keeps on going this way. So thanks again for watching. I always appreciate it. Take care, and I will see you next time.